Have you ever noticed that when two friends really enjoy each other's relationships, they tend to take on similar characteristics? You might see a same hairstyle, you might see the same kind of house decorations or gardens or whatever it is that they really have a shared affinity for. It's really interesting to watch. We have to be careful as Christians because this also impacts us in terms of taking on characteristics of the world. We see a good story about this in Judges chapter 2, where we had the Israelites who had begun to take possession of the land of Canaan, the promised land. And within just one generation, they went from people who served the Lord wholeheartedly to a generation who didn't know the Lord at all. And why is this? It's because they didn't drive out the people of the land. They did not do the things that God had commanded them to do. Instead, they allowed those people to infiltrate their lives, to show them who their false gods were and encourage them to worship their false gods. And as a result, they began to lose relationship with God and ultimately turn their backs on him. We see that repeatedly throughout the history of the Israelites. They would honor God for a time and then become assimilated by the people around them and turn their back on God. As Jesus tells us that we are going to be in the world, it is not to be in the world loving the world as in taking on the characteristics of it and being so enamored by it that we no longer live for God. When we love the world, we conform to the world. And eventually we will be condemned with the world. But when we love God, we are to take on his nature, the nature of Jesus Christ. It tells us that we are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We are to allow God to make us holy through and through and be set apart for his service. We cannot do this if we are pursuing the things of the world. Be very careful that you are a sent people into the world to shine a light, not in the world to take on the characteristics of the world. Something to contemplate today. Blessings on you.